Trump's new lawyer, John Lauro, calling this case a shocking abuse of power, saying, quote, "We're in an era when prosecutors are really making up criminal theories that haven't been used before. And that has really scary consequences for all Americans. That's a big concern of mine and a reason I got involved in this case." Former congressional investigator Sam Dewey joins us now. Sam, is this a case of prosecutors simply making up criminal theories? Is that where we are?
Based on everything I've read, I think so, in that this is an extraordinarily broad theory and an extraordinarily scary theory to the extent at which it seeks to criminalize First Amendment speech, lobbying activity, and also seeks to make criminal a president's discretionary exercise of his executive power. And the best way I think one can think about all of that is a prosecutor should not bring a charge if they are confident they will lose at the end of the day. And I haven't heard pretty much anyone argue with any confidence that this indictment will survive review at the Supreme Court. And I think that speaks volumes, that Jack Smith has almost certainly brought an indictment that he knows will never get 5 votes at the court.
Does this then fire up his base again?
I mean, I think politically, certainly, it's going to make the base furious. And I also think it's going to make the base furious in another dimension of, well, okay, no one knows the parameters of these new charges. If I am advocating against, let us say in this hypothetical, the 2020 election, saying we need election reform, could I be indicted as a conspirator after the fact? If I'm engaged in a lobbying campaign on pick any number of issues, and I say something that my opponents firmly believe is incorrect, and they think they can show I thought was incorrect, is that enough to say, well, go to the jury? We're going to criminally prosecute you because we think, and have evidence that we think allows us to go to a jury, that you may have lied in, I don't know, lobbying for a health care bill where you said, if you like your plan, you can keep it. Is that indictable now? I don't know. There's a lot of confusion in the legal community of what are the lines of this theory? How do we know what has been always considered core First Amendment speech, core First Amendment lobbying, core First Amendment? You have a right to make non-frivolous arguments not only to a court, but to a body that has authority to rule on issues, such as Congress. Where does this go? We just don't know. So it's scary in that regard as well.
Sam, it's funny you brought up that phrase, if you like your health care plan, you can keep it. That was former President Obama's tagline when he instituted Obamacare. Even he is reportedly warning how formidable Trump may be as an opponent in 2024. And that's got people questioning what's happening with respect to Hunter Biden and these indictments that keep coming down. We got breaking news and the transcript from the Devon Archer testimony. It essentially says that the Bidens were using their brand to further their agenda. So you have to ask yourself, the timing of this, how it's all kind of come together. And the fact that we're showing you these pictures of former President Trump, he is walking out right now. He's getting into the car and headed on his way to the airport where he's going to fly down to Washington, D.C. to enter a plea in this latest indictment. You have to ask yourself, is this all coincidental?
I can't say for sure, and I'm not going to speculate or tribe motive. What I can say is this. Typically, if you're the Department of Justice, you want to show the public that justice is not only being done, but appearing to be done. And that means you don't adjust your case, adjust your charges, but you do consider, okay, I'm in this context. How do I adjust things? How do I make sure that this case is being legitimately brought? And part of that may be, even if I was planning to indict a few days after the Hunter plea hearing, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I wait a couple of weeks so there's no question that I'm acting independently. That is what you would expect a nonpartisan, by-the-book prosecutor to do. That didn't happen in this case. Contrast that with one of the most telling moments of the Hunter Biden plea hearing. Do you have any precedent for this? No. So just to be clear, you can give me no examples of this plea diversion deal you cooked up. No. Do you have any precedent that even supports this argument? No. We have no precedent on point. So you have a departure in both cases, but in different directions.
Sam, you made an interesting point earlier about the plain meaning of law. If laws don't have a plain meaning that people understand, in other words, if they're always malleable, that's how they become political weapons, because those in power wield them however they want. And it strikes me when you're reaching back to the Civil War for a statute to use in a very different circumstance here, it strikes me you've gone a long way from the plain meaning of the law, Sam.
Absolutely. The statute you referenced was designed to combat the Klan and others lynching people for voting. It was conspiracy to lynch. It was a federal hook to prosecute quite literally murder. And it's being perverted in a way that, by the way, would be unrecognizable. You want to talk about the hurly-burly of politics, tough dealing? Look no further than the 1876 electoral controversy. People were, under the theory here, everybody should have gone to jail on both sides. You literally should have indicted both parties under this theory.
Sam, great to have you on the program today. Thank you so much.